up? What up? What up? Happy New Year's Eve. It's gonna be a great night. Welcome to the Finn's Tailgate. I'm your host, Mike on the mic. That's Tonk 7 right there, or I guess over there. Yeah, wrong way. But this is the tailgate party that never stops, and we're here to have the first episode of Drop the Mic. Thank y'all so much for coming in and joining us. Please like, subscribe, share the crap out of this, guys. This is my dream. El Capitan, Chris Adams, has given us the opportunity to do this, and he is 100% supporting us, and this is the best way we can support him by liking, subscribing, and sharing, guys. Just get it done. Tonk, you having a good night?
Yeah, man. I'm trying to stay warm up here in Seattle.
What's the temperature right now?
Snow.
I've got shorts on and a short sleeve shirt.
Yeah, lots of snow. So it's fun though.
It's about 64 degrees here. Warmest winter I've ever, or warmest December I've had in forever down here in Texas.
We're at 28 degrees.
It's supposed to get down cold pretty soon, but I'm glad I live down here in Texas some days because I ain't got to deal with that crazy cold. It comes once in a blue moon. But guys, I want to start off this episode, man, on a sort of a somber note. Two icons in the media industry. One is sports media, and two, just media in general. John Madden and Betty White have both passed on this week. And Betty White, when was she born, Tom?
I think she was almost 100 years old, so 1922.
1922. You were fascinated that she knew Charlie Chaplin?
Yeah, like one of the few people alive that knew him. Like she was giving Charlie Chaplin reach arounds before our grandparents were born.
But I grew up with my grandmother. We were watching Golden Girls. That was the whole thing. Every weekend, every day we went over there, that's what I watched.
Yeah, when I used to visit my grandparents, we'd be taking like breaks from like doing yard work or farm work or whatever we were doing on their property, and the Golden Girls would be on, and they were legit, man. Like they didn't take no crap, dude.
Those three women were like, man, they were just so much fun, and you're not even joking. They didn't take any crap. They just they knew what they wanted and they went and got it. But and then John Madden, man, that dude, he taught me football. I was never blessed with size. I weighed 98 pounds when I graduated high school. And that man taught me football, taught me how to break down plays, taught me where people are supposed to go, how the offensive line and the defensive line is supposed to hit the gaps, how the linebackers are supposed to fill the gaps, what coverage, what routes work. I mean, he taught me everything as a kid. And when he coached, obviously I wasn't born yet. He stopped coaching, I think it was 1978, and I wasn't born until 84. But when he went into the television, I watched the documentary All Madden, and he started on CBS, and he did not want to be a broadcaster. He just didn't want to do it. And then he said after the first couple games, what's up?
No, I'm just listening to you.
And then after the first couple games, he decided that, man, this is what I really want to do. And they interviewed his wife, and they've been together 61 and a half years. And she said he just wasn't used to losing. So when it ended at coaching, when he put his mind to broadcasting, he was going to be the best. And he fell in love with it. And then Fox, the part where Fox came out of nowhere, and they weren't even a television station or anything, and then all of a sudden popped up and decided to get a deal with the NFL. And they hired John Madden over, and just the type of influence he had, man, Pat Summerall followed him. His entire crew followed him. Howie Long followed him. Terry Bradshaw ended up getting on the show, and it really jump-started the Fox's network, and they were so lucky to get a man like him. But as a broadcaster, he just boom, bam. Oh, yeah, he just got through there. And he just had so many one-liners and so much charisma, and he was just so much fun to watch.
Yeah, he was very graphical with with what he was talking about. It actually helped, like as far as like a young person trying to learn football and broadcasting and stuff like that. Like it made it easier to understand what he was saying. And still like he was like, they do it nowadays, but it's a little bit more computerized, and it's just not the same as like seeing him actually on there with a pen and drawing it out and stuff. And it gave it like more character. And I haven't really seen anybody else follow up the same way that he, with that same type of brought,
Yeah, and that was, he drew the X's and O's. Nowadays they're on the screen and they just kind of do their own thing. But he used to, man, just the way he described the game. He just had so much passion for the game, and I think that's what I'm gonna remember most about him is just his passion for the game, and then his passion to teach people the game. He was a coach first, but he was a coach in life, and he just loved teaching people about the game of football and the intricacies. And he was the reason the offensive line and the defensive line became more known and more talked about, was because when he got into broadcasting, he started highlighting the lanes that the offensive linemen are creating or the moves the defensive linemen were doing. And he's the reason that we talk about that now, was John Madden. And so it's a sad week. The one thing about both of them, though, I will say is, Betty White was 99, still looked like she was about 65 and talked and energy of a 65-year-old. And John Madden himself at 85 still had that amazing voice of his, and he still had good pace, and he didn't look like he was really struggling at all. So it was a really cool documentary, and I was definitely really sad to see them go. Madden video games. What's up?
When he won the Super Bowl, was that with Bo Jackson playing?
I don't remember if he was on the team. I think that was a little bit before, but
I was looking.
I know that when he won the Super Bowl, that was the one thing that, well, I was just talking about his passion, is that's what all the players were talking about, was how they just wanted to do it for John. But I don't know if I think Bo was 81, 82. I'm not sure when he was drafted. Maybe you can find that here in a second. But yeah, now college football. John Madden, he was an NFL guru, but when it comes to college, Nick Saban's one of the best to ever do it. He and Alabama and Cincinnati played tonight, and Alabama, they rolled into the championship game. I think pretty much everybody expected.
Destroyed them. I mean,
I will say this: that Ritter kid for Cincinnati, boy, he reminds me a lot of Colin Kaepernick, and he his game, Alabama. Nick Saban been there, done that, and so they definitely shut him down a lot better than I expected them to do. But at the same time, I think the running back for Alabama, I can't remember who started, but at one point he had 12 carries for 14 carries for 120 yards in the first half, 7.6 a carry, I think, something like that. It's just dumb. But what's the update? How's the Michigan game going?
It's 27-3, so it's kind of similar to the Bama. Cincinnati.
Georgia just waxing them, huh?
Yeah, and I mean, like, just the teams are so good. Georgia and Alabama. I mean, it's just been them two going at it for years now.
Yeah.
Just like freaking Nick Saban, like I think running back is probably it's got to be his favorite position, because he's always got, like, in 2009 he had Mark Ingram, and I remember that game, like, because just the whole game was just Mark Ingram just running through the Gators offensive line, just running and running and running, just like I was just like this the whole freaking game, dude. And then he had the dude that plays on the Titans,
Derrick Henry,
and now I forgot the guy's name he was playing tonight, but it's just like, and he has these players, and like he rarely uses them. Like the running back he was using tonight, he did not use often in the and it's like he has these players that he just has them juiced up, amped up, ready to just take off and win a game. It's like it's like he always has players that nobody has any film on or nobody really knows about, and then he unleashes them in a championship, and you can't stop him. I've seen
not at all
for years. It's always a new player that's like kind of like, I didn't even know who Mark Ingram was until he played in the SEC championship. And the guy he played tonight, I was like, I ain't never really heard of him watching college football.
But he'll be a Heisman candidate next year.
Yeah, and then because it's like it's always, I think it was his running backs that were always winning the Heismans, and now this year was the first year Alabama had a quarterback. Because the quarterback is always kind of secondary, even though the quarterback's always really good. It was what was his name last season?
McElroy. Mac Jones.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, like they're saying, Tony Kornheiser on. I don't know. Do you ever watch Pardon the Interruption?
I used to. I don't really watch too much TV, well, ESPN really, but I used to watch it all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, he was saying that Mac Jones reminds him of Bart Starr, who won Super Bowl 1 and 2. And I mean, Bart Starr won Super Bowl 1 and 2, but he won like the 2 previous championships before that when it was just NFL. It wasn't Super Bowl, it was like NFL championship. And like that's a crazy, to compare him to.
Yeah, that's a legend.
I haven't heard anybody compare someone to Bart Starr in all the sports news I've watched for years now. So it's just interesting what Nick Saban has done. Down there, it's just crazy, man.
Like, I'll still never like him because of what he did to Miami, but he is a god of college football coaching. So I don't ever want to talk about what he did to Miami. It's still a sore spot. I still haven't pulled the knife out of my back. Team doctor, be damned. You should have still stuck it out for a season, brother. Come on now. But, if I had an agreement in place and Drew Brees was supposed to be my quarterback, Ty, talk about all your shades. Got to flash that bling. What up, Ty? Thanks for tuning in, bro. But, and so Drew Brees, if he had come to Miami, nobody knows what would have happened. But because he didn't come, because the team doctor said his shoulder wasn't good enough, Nick Saban said, peace, I'm out. And then the dynasty of Alabama started. So, it's bittersweet. We are getting to watch 2 of the greatest NFL and college coaches of all time, and Bill Belichick and Nick Saban. But I'm ready for Nick Saban to, hang it up. Or Texas is coming, and y'all supposed to be coming to face us in 2023. Alabama is supposed to be coming down to Austin, and man, even if Sarkisian's got this team loaded and ready to go, I'm still scared of that one. For sure, Ty. We'll get to that in a minute.
We're going to get on that, Ty. Yeah, we're going to be getting on that soon.
Yeah. And then
when does Texas and Oklahoma join the SEC?
Okay, so they still have a couple years left. They still have a couple years left in their contract, but they can buy out. They can buy them out. I imagine it won't be next year, but it'll probably be the year after that, or maybe before Alabama and Texas start their home and home. But
it's gonna be crazy.
The biggest thing from this bowl season, honestly, because you've got the conference records. There really hadn't been anybody dominating per se. SEC is kind of struggling until Alabama won tonight. I think they had one of their team won today. But South Carolina, that was the other team that won. But Bob Stoops, triumphant return, coming off the bench to fill in for an emergency. They got the win.
When I was watching the game, because I know that Lincoln Riley just left and went to USC. Yeah. And I heard him saying Bob Stoops, and I was like, hold on a second. He went down there for that one game.
Yeah.
And that was I've never seen anything like that before in sports, where a coach just came back just for, a one game scenario. Like usually they'll take the offensive coordinator and have him fill in.
You better say up to your father.
What's up, Sean? Sorry, I see it.
What up, Sean? Thanks for watching, Mr. Adams.
That's Mr. Adams from back in the day. What was I gonna say?
I got you off track. It's all right, bro. Let's
that was really interesting to see that, and I like how the bonds are still there, and everyone's still happy with each other, just to have someone back out, to just throw them in there for a championship game. I like Bob Stoops.
I don't like him, but it's because I got I won't ever like Bob Stoops, but I was glad to see him go. Lincoln Riley came in and back-to-back Heisman winners, almost a third, whatever. But he, for him to come back, though, you were right. That bond they still have. The players, they played for him. They played hard for him, and they took down a team that I think it was Oregon, and Oregon was tough this year, and they were able to beat them. And nobody knows if Bob Stoops will ever get back into coaching, but I gotta think that was really cool for him to do that.
Yeah, it was cool to see. That's what's interesting about sports, progressing, with the student portals now and social media and like coaches moving here, moving there. Like you get these scenarios that like probably would have never happened if it wasn't for like modern era of sports, and just to see it go down, it's really cool. I like I like it.
Ty, I think you might have wasted your money on that 7.5 because I think it's still.
So he said 7.5. So that means he was rooting for Michigan.
Yeah, he wanted Michigan. He got Michigan losing by 7.5.
Buddy, what are you doing? How are you gonna root? You can't put another over an SEC team unless.
Hey, he must not listen to that bet show. Must not listen to Brandon the bookie. They had told him to stay away from that. Man, the thing, with that game, though, and specifically, the reason I wouldn't have touched it with a 10-foot stick is Michigan held their head on the running game. That was what kept them in every game this year. Well, I think Georgia might have 22 or 22 damn starters drafted, and they're all grown men, and you ain't going to run on them. Alabama does, but we were just talking about that. Alabama, they run on everybody. But, yeah, that game, I don't know. I kind of had a little bit of hope for Michigan, but at the same time, Georgia's just loaded with NFL talent on that team right now, and I just didn't think they stood a chance.
Yeah.
Hey, your boys behind you over there. That was a rough game.
Oh, against two. Oh, when they played UCF.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Central Boy. Yeah, but
our head. That was an interim head coach. Georgia defense got cooked by Bama. I mean, dude, I don't. Has Georgia beaten Alabama since Saban's been there? I want to say they haven't.
I think it's one. I want to say they did at least once. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure they did. But yeah, when that game happened, Georgia and Alabama, I didn't expect Alabama's running game to do as well as it did because of Georgia's defensive line. It's absurd. But because Alabama's Alabama, you can put me back there. I'm probably going to gain 100 yards.
Because I want to say FSU. So who's the coach of the Texas A&M? I think he's the first coach to beat
Rock on this
as his because he used to work for Nick Saban.
Kirby Smart.
Yeah, and so did a Texas A&M head coach, and I think he was the first coach to beat Saban as a head coach. So I don't know.
When he was at FSU,
Georgia,
Jimbo Fisher
haven't beaten Alabama.
Well, cool. I could have sworn they had like 2 years ago, maybe. But I think I'm thinking wrong because they faced each other in the championship game and Alabama waxed them again. So, yeah, you might be right. But Kirby Smart.
You know what? You might be right. That might have been the SEC championship. No, it was because that was in 2018 when they played each other again.
Yeah, I believe so. It was about 2 or 3 years ago.
It was the 2017 season because it was right. 2018 when they played each other in the national championship, and we were in the playoff. I think what happened was Georgia beat Alabama in the SEC championship, but then Alabama stayed in the top 4, and then just scored like 30-0.
Yeah, it was nuts. And Ty, that Bama lock, that was definitely a lock. But well, I don't remember the last time I didn't care about bowl season, but my Longhorns they were so bad this year. But at the same time, they were good.
What was their win lose loss?
I'm pretty sure we won 5 games. I stopped caring about the wins. I just wanted to see Xavier Worthy break some records, which he did. Phenom freshman wide receiver, reminds me of everybody that's ever gone to Alabama. Calvin Ridley, Amari Cooper, who just he looks amazing. But I was just excited because of recruiting. Sarkisian's first year, nobody knew what was really going to happen with him. I think we all expected more wins, but at the same time, he had one recruit on this team that was his, and it was Xavier Worthy, who balled out, and that was it. He didn't have a single recruit that was his on this team, and now the 2022 class is loaded, better than any class probably in the last 5, I'd say almost 10 years for Texas, top to bottom. But
Cooper what's a team that thinks beating UCF should be in the Final Four? I don't understand the question.
Yeah, Ty, you lost me with that one, but I'm sure he'll explain it.
Or a statement.
Hey, it's New Year's Eve. He's probably, he's got the midnight oil going. It's
on
okay.
the East Coast, so it's a little bit. It's 9:17.
Yep.
Might be past his bedtime for his young ass. Dude, yeah, I think once the Longhorns like get into the SEC, I think their recruiting is going to improve.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see Oklahoma and Texas and the SEC. I'm excited for it, man. Like, I think like eventually they're going to just do away with the NCAA and they're just going to have all their own elite conferences.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's been well. I think you were on to something before they passed the pay to play, because now, I mean, I guess it could still lead that way, but I think the conferences are going to be more prideful now about win-loss records because of the I can pay somebody to come to my school now. Like Texas is offering $50,000 to every offensive line.
Yeah. Well, like at the same time, man, I'm glad that they passed that, because it's like these people, these kids, essentially that are young, they're like hurting their bodies, like out there playing football. Like they deserve some extra compensation for that, not just tuition and stuff. Like, I mean, I don't know, like how much money Tim Tebow made for University of Florida. Are you kidding me? It's like just like these players bring money to teams. It's like, like they deserve to get some kind of, payment currency for doing this. Yeah, it took a long time, but now they don't have to buy a house or, buy Reggie Bush's mom a house to get Reggie Bush to go to USC.
Hey, but and then they got in trouble for it. But you hear me all right?
Yeah, you were going a little bit in and out.
It's good now.
I don't know why it was something with your microphone, but it sounds
it's
better
good
now.
Cool.
Like it was going a little bit. I don't know what to stop you. Like I was just
no worries.
But I mean, we're still figuring this out. Everybody, like, shit. I just met this dude like 2 days ago.
Hey, y'all, Ty, make sure you like and subscribe, man. Share it for us.
In on here soon, man, especially when we talk about fantasy like this. Like I called him earlier today and told him about it, because I know you want to do fantasy and stuff, and he does bet and he does fantasy. He's real into this, so maybe not tonight, but eventually moving forward, I'd like to get him in here.
For sure, man, I'm down.
Yeah, because I mean, it's good for me to learn too. I don't know much about fantasy, but like listening to people asking questions, like I'm about it.
So, and El Capitan, he said his two cents here just a second ago, and he's right. They're building their own brand, and they should be getting paid for it, because their likeness and images, like you just said, the amount of money these players make for the universities, it's absurd. These guys are taking so much money home with them, and it's because of the players. So yeah, it is America. They should get paid for that.
Dude, CBS broadcast, the channel station, paid the SEC $2 billion. I want to say this was like
2 years ago,
2010, 2012, so that they would have the rights to air the games on their station, it was always like a big game, like Tennessee, Florida, or Georgia, Alabama, or Tennessee, a game that people wanted to see. $2 billion. Just one game a week.
That's a lot of money, dude. But Ty, and I ain't a Bama fan, but I love betting on it's swinging, man. It ain't just big, but yeah, man. College football, it's getting so much fun. Bowl season ain't really as cool as it used to be. I'm old school, but I preferred the BCS, this new champion. Unless they add more teams, I just ain't really a fan. But it's gonna be interesting, that championship game, Georgia and Alabama, for the umpteenth time. They going back in. Thanks, sir. Appreciate you.
You would like mean, I'm not hating on it, but I know Sean would like that.
Man, I just put it on to represent, man. You know, I'm up here
I'll have to
down here
bring.
in
I
Texas.
has too. I'll have to bring it out. I got a little bit of everything. You know, I'm from the South. I grew up on farms and stuff like that. So,
What made you move up?
go with it, and I can do everything. Be city, be country, be whatever.
Chameleon. Hey, so like real quick though, you know, we just hashed out that we just met a couple days ago. Why are you in Seattle?
So, for what I do for a living, I'm an environmental scientist, and I work as a consultant for construction companies. And consulting, as in like getting them to build more efficient,
Yeah,
like healthy indoor water efficiency, fuel, energy efficiency, healthier materials, local materials. So like just kind of guiding builders on
yeah,
how to build something that doesn't pull from future generations.
that's
Um,
cool.
just this whole area, the PNW, you know, Oregon,
Yeah,
Washington,
yeah, yeah.
they have a lot of sustainability in what they do, and so like I was just at a point in my life where I could move away from Florida, have someone pay for it. And then who the hell doesn't want to get paid to drive across the entire country? A diagonal across the entire country. I was like, that situation alone, I was like, all right, I'm gonna do it. And
Done.
it was the dopest thing ever. And like I first moved to Oregon and then I moved to Washington. But yeah, like I just been doing that. I'm starting to get incorporated with like city ordinances and stuff like that. I do a lot of code work. I do consulting, I do energy audits, energy models. So like just like I said, just like adding sustainability into
Yeah.
and it's in like I knew when I was in college, like the degree I chose, only he would know. Only he would know. I knew that I was gonna be able to get a job, you know, and I don't know any college graduate besides like people in medical fields who have to
Yeah,
be basically have to have a job to even graduate. Besides people in like specialized stuff like that, I don't know anyone that got a job a month after they graduated college. Like I didn't
yeah,
even, dude, I had people sending me job interviews. I didn't even apply for the first company I worked with. I didn't even apply for the company I work for now. Like it's just like, and I'm not trying to brag. I'm just saying that like people like this career is like it's becoming it's becoming a have to more than a want to. It's so
yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, I see where you're going with that.
it's
Well,
becoming
and
part of
speaking of yeah, but speaking of getting paid, you know, I know that's the goal for all of us. Well, fantasy football season is about to end, and I got about $1,800 on the line if I win my 3 championship games. That's what I spent on Christmas presents. but so do you play fantasy sports, Tom?
No, I haven't gotten into it. I just I don't know. I just haven't really gotten into it.
Yeah,
It yeah, I mean I don't know. I play regular video games, I guess. I don't know. I look at like it seems like it's a lot to have to digest and take in.
mm-hmm.
Um
Mm-hmm.
but I love talking about like, you know, stats and stuff like that. And so I think
Well,
if I
so
I think like if I had someone I hung out with a lot that did it, I would do it
yeah.
then. Because I could like look at their phone and like look at how they do it and stuff like that. But yeah, how long have you been like doing?
I've been playing season long fantasy for going on 20 years. I started with my dad, and then I recently took a dive into Dynasty. A couple years back, I started a league with the I guess with the intention of running it like the NFL. I created a salary cap. Each player, it was an auction, so you bid on your player, and it counted towards your salary cap. And then at the end of each year, you know, you want to drop the players that you're not going to keep. Some of them you may be priced out because you paid too much for them. But the whole purpose was to stay under that salary cap. And so you couldn't, the teams would always rotate every 2 to 3 years. The big names, because of the raises, you know, there's all kinds of raises that are involved. But superstar raise, if you're number one, then you get I think it's a $50 raise. And then if you were top 10 or top 5, but not number 1, then it was a $35 raise. And so you got raises each year for your players. Well, the superstars, 3 years after having them, they get up to $150. It's just too much of your cap to put in for one player. So it all rotates. But this year, I'm playing in. I took over commissioner for a league that has been going 20 years because my really good friend, he was a former manager of mine and my wife's. He, if you're talking about Justin Jefferson, that is true. I got him too. He's helped carry me this. I'll tell you my roster here in a little bit, but Ty, for sure, Justin Jefferson is a beast. But now his wife, he has 2 special needs children, and his wife is recently diagnosed with cancer. So a little somber note, but he didn't have time to be a commissioner anymore, and I didn't want the league to go away, so I took it over for him. And my wife and I, she was the first girl to ever be in it, and the first girl to come back the second year, and then she came back this year. And this year,
like it's the first female.
Yeah, she was the first female to ever play, and the first female to come back.
That's tight.
Because the females that used to do it, they would just be on a team with their boyfriend, and then you just would never see them again. But we're in the championship. I started out 1-4 and thought it was over. She started out, and man, she waxed me the first week. I scored 175 points, which is a lot, but she scored 178. I was screwed. I was like, oh well, she's going to have a good team this year, but she suffered some injuries just like everybody else. And Chris Godwin going down a couple weeks ago. She's in for a tough. It's a tough week for her this week, but man, I banked hard on Kyler Murray this year. I banked hard on Nick Chubb. A lot of people were kind of confused why I took him so early, but I took Jonathan Taylor. For me, he was the first running back off the board, period. But a lot of people went Alvin Kamara or Christian McCaffrey, Zeke, Derrick Henry. But I took Jonathan Taylor. I really thought he was going to have a good year. Just his per carry average last year, and then the fact that they got Carson Wentz was I thought it was an upgrade at quarterback, and then their offensive line was so good last year. I just felt like he was going to get the ball more, and I'm not always right, but he's a hell of a pickup this year. But I'm actually in the championship in 2 out of my 3 redraft leagues. Now, a redraft league is where it's new players on your team every year. You don't ever keep anybody. There's no keepers. You just draft your team every year. It's usually a snake draft. I play a lot of 12-man leagues or 12-team leagues. And but the season-long leagues, they're not quite as exciting anymore now that I'm in Dynasty, because now I can build a team and really do it. And specifically speaking, I have the league that I created. My first year I went 6-7, really mad. The next season my team just kept getting hurt, and so I decided to tear it down, and I traded away everybody for some draft picks. I picked up Justin Jefferson. Well, then in back-to-back drafts, I was able to pick up Justin Herbert, Justin Jefferson, Jalen Waddle, Michael Pittman, Kyle Pitts, and I got a whole squad of young guys. Well, this year it all came together. I traded midseason for DeAndre Swift and Javonte Williams to shore up my running backs, because that's where I was really the weakest. And I'm in the championship in that one too. That was the quickest 2-year turnaround I've done ever seen.
What do you have to do to get like Tom Brady?
Well, like Tom Brady, so I actually had him. I traded him away for Swift, but Burrow, Eckler, CH, Damian Harris, Kelsey, Jefferson, Antonio Brown, 49ers defense, Eagles kicker. Yeah, that's a good little team. Kelsey kind of, he had his. Yeah, that's a really good team.
Are you also Dynasty, or are you just regular fantasy, Ty?
He said that was Dynasty. So I'm assuming that's his Dynasty league, but because he said he Jefferson. But that's a damn good team. If there's no salary cap, that one, hopefully that stays together for a little bit. Got to replace Antonio Brown soon. But Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he was one of the most confusing. Just one of the most confusing backs in fantasy football, because he's in an offense where he should have succeeded. He's in an offense where they're not going to be looking at him. They're not going to stack the box against him. And then he just can't stay healthy. And then when he is on the field, he's inconsistent. And he plays for Kansas City. He played at LSU. But I did have him. I traded him away for Javonte Williams. But I have another league, non-dynasty, the one that my wife and I are facing each other in. I've got Kyler Murray, Dalvin Cook, Joe Mixon, AJ Brown, Debo Samuel, Kyle Pitts, Devontae Parker. I think I have New Orleans defense in that one. I don't really care about the defensive kicker because I just score a crap load of. Hey, what up, Dogsy? You made it, bro. Dude, Tonk. So last night we were doing a show, and Dogsy comes out of nowhere. He's from the UK. He might be in Texas right now, though.
That Kadeem?
No. Dogsy just came in. He just came into the chat. So he was going to meet his fiance's dad, her family, and he got a phone call, and it was this country guy get on. And he goes, "So what are your intentions with my wife or my daughter? And are you going to be good to her? Blah blah." And then at the end, he said, "Go Cowboys." Well, Dogsy had to Google what "Go Cowboys" meant. So last night he came on the show. He goes, "That's dope, dude. I can tell you all kinds of places to go in Dallas if y'all are out having a good time." But Dallas, Texas, boy. But so anyway, so toward the end of the show, he hung out with us.
Actually, I have been to Dallas. That's where I went. One of my certifications, I went to Dick's Last Resort. Go to Dick's Last Resort.
Dude, they give you the coolest hats. You can talk, talk crap to the waiters and bartenders. They're going to talk crap to you. It's so much fun. But so, anyways, he hung out with us last night when we were doing a recap of the game, and he needed Cowboys information, so we gave him all this information to speak about with the future father-in-law, and evidently it went good. He's still alive, and he's in Dallas, and he's back on the show. So appreciate you coming back, Dogsy. That's cool as hell, man. Oh, Jalen Waddle, yeah, definitely. I've got him on that dynasty league with the one that I started. He's one of my big time. I've got two other dynasty leagues that I tanked. Ty, if you've ever played Sleeper, it's another app that I use. But I traded away pretty much my entire team, but I ended up getting 7 first-round picks next year, 5 first-round picks the year after that, and then I have a total of 18 picks total in this next draft to completely rebuild my team. Because on that one, Tonk, when you draft them, you keep them and until they either retire or you trade them or you release them. But that one is no salary cap or anything. So if you don't get in early, you got to rebuild your team. So I'm doing it. I'm trading away most of my draft picks for this year on to next year because the 2023 class is way more talented than the 2022 class. But man, honestly, I can't even name a superstar that might be coming out of this 2020. Maybe Michigan State running back. No, I don't even think he's going to be that great. I don't know. There's no real studs that are coming out this year. What's up?
State, not Michigan. So go.
No, Michigan State. Yeah. But I think it's Kenneth Walker is the name. I'm pretty sure. But my dad's infatuated with him. But yeah, it's a league where I got invited and I drafted everybody, or I got this team, and I realized that only thing I ever get to draft.
Dude, I'll tell you something about his.
Oh, that's dope. Yeah, go ahead. Let's go.
So he likes the Eagles. His brother likes Dallas Cowboys, and his other brother likes the Giants. So, like, how is one family
NFC East
different? I mean, it's interesting that they're all in the same division, but how do y'all like such different?
That's dope, man. At least you're in it, yeah. So, but man, so fantasy wise, any questions y'all got? Go ahead and keep sending them, Ty. I really appreciate you, bro. You just making this some fun.
Him up because he's in this stuff, and I knew he'd be good to bring in. That's my dog right there, like for real.
Yeah. So we gotta mix in some Canes talk. It is South Florida. We are on the Fins tailgate, and I do wanna.
What's up with Zach Thomas?
Well, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that at the end. That's my favorite. That's an emotional subject. Well, not really, but he is my favorite player. We're gonna do that at the very end. Dogsy, I took your advice and got a flag too, and we were putting up a second flagpole tomorrow at the front of his house. It's too damn hot out here. Dogsy, you are the man, bro. I hope blessings upon blessings for you and that entire family, man. I'm just glad you survived, but that's really cool. Man, I want to do some. If she does, Sean, uh, he thinks that my wife is gonna beat my butt. Now, in reality, it might be better if she beats me because it might get good things for me. But at the same time, if you've ever played with your spouse in any type of game and competition involved, that I can't lose to her because that's bragging rights. No matter how many times I beat her after this year, a woman's gonna hold on to that one time that she beat me, and then she's never gonna let me live it down. And I just, I can't really can't do that. Who is that, Ty? You said your best friend used to play for the Canes, and now he's on the Packers. Anyways, but he's gonna shoot us that name in a second. But man, I want to do some Canes talk, but honestly, like Gators and Longhorns and I mean the quarterback, yeah, I'll do it for you as long as you do it. But that's right. But
is so when Oklahoma and Texas join, I wonder who's going to go to the East and the West. I bet Texas is going to go to the East.
If they're smart, I think you do separate them for sure. But it's gonna be interesting because I don't think OU is ready for the SEC. I'm not saying Texas is, but they have the coaching staff in place that's been there, and they have the coaching staff in place that knows SEC football. The Oklahoma's got Brett Venables. He Clemson. Not that he's bad, but that's the ACC. That's not SEC. And they had so many people decommit once Lincoln Riley left, and a couple of the offensive linemen came to Texas. But if they separate them, I think it'll be good because that'll create the natural rivalry. But I'm really hoping Texas is in the same. I want Texas and Texas A&M playing each other again. So I'd love to see them have a yearly rivalry again. Real quick on that, the bonfire that ruined Texas A&M, but that was my favorite rivalry back in the day. And then the bonfire incident happened, and Texas A&M lost all those students to the bonfire accident. Texas went down there and helped pick it back up, and the rivalry just kind of died. But Justin Tucker for the Baltimore Ravens did kick the very last field goal Texas ever attempted in Texas A&M Stadium in College Station. So it's pretty cool. But we ended up winning the game. That was how we put a stamp on it. By far. Yeah, I mean, El Capitan, you're right on. I'm a Big 12 guy still. I want to say I'm SEC, but we're not even there yet. But my dad is SEC. Tonk's SEC. Like they're nuts. Like they're just so much talent from the SEC. I can't. I wanted to argue against them. Their bowl record this year, it gives me a little bit of spice to argue that maybe they're not the best, but they're the best hands down. They're the number of championships between Florida, Alabama, and LSU is just absurd. The Canes in the ACC though, I think you said it was Van Dyke. Tell me if I'm wrong, El Capitan, but your quarterback. And then I know y'all just changed your coach and you brought in somebody that you were really excited about, and I think they have a chance to really. In my opinion, the ACC is wide open. I don't think there's a dominant team anymore. Clemson's taking a step back. I mean, that team is. I think it's up for grabs now. But
FSU is having some trouble still. Miami, I like how Miami is kind of adapting. The Miami culture. With the turnover chain.
Mm-hmm. Chains.
I don't know. It seems like they're kind of. Not that they didn't before. But I like the, and I'm not really a fan of the word swag, but I kind of like the swag that they have. Like they're embracing, because I don't think another team would have I think other teams have turnover things, but like Miami was the first one to be
dude.
Like make a rap song about it. And like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's dope. Like when I saw it, like, damn, man, that's just dope.
So I mean, I gotta ask your age in a little bit, but Jonathan Garvin, shout out to him. That's pretty cool, Ty. But my most favorite times growing up as a kid was when Miami was good, because when they were good, they were dominant. The 01, I believe it's the 01 team, is quite possibly the best college football team ever assembled. They were so dominant.
And they won a championship.
Yeah, and then they went 12-0. They had Ray Lewis. I mean, not Ray Lewis, but they had oh, now you got me all messed up. Ed Reed.
They had Ed Reed. Yeah, they had Ed Reed, and I think they did have Ray Lewis.
And they had Ken Dorsey as quarterback. No, I don't think so. But they had Ken Dorsey at quarterback. They had I think it was Willis McGahee in the backfield. That team was just loaded. Shout out Frank Gore. Yeah, that boy. I can't believe he's still. Man, that boy just never stops playing. But hang on, I want to get back to Dogsy real quick, but I do really feel like I'm in the South here though, because he got me a Cowboys jersey as like a welcome gift, and then said to me, I was gonna get you a gun, but you live in commie country. But yeah, thanks guys. I'm gonna chill out and watch, shake off this jet lag. That's dope. Dogsy, you my hero, bro. Oh yeah, Frank Gore for boxing. Yeah, I guess we can bring that up. He is a U alum. He did, I don't get why these celebrities are doing these boxing matches now, but I think he already boxed. He knocked out. Oh man, who did he fight? Somebody. I think it was Darren Williams. Was that him, or is that a different? I think it was Darren Williams from basketball. Like a month ago, or maybe a couple weeks ago.
That was gonna happen, or I would have definitely watched that.
Oh, hang on, it might not even have happened yet. We talking smoke right now, because I don't know if it's happened, but I remember it's either him and Darren Williams or something.
Let me see.
But yeah, the Canes were, man, when they were good, it was just so much fun to watch football. And I still remember the Ohio State game. And yeah, he fought Darren Williams. Cool. December 18th on the Jake Paul card. I can't stand Jake Paul. I don't know about y'all, but that I think it's going to start some controversy, but I don't care. He showed him he was coming with that punch, and he had his glove up still, and then he dropped it, and then he showed him again, and then dude, Woodley doesn't get knocked out like that, bro. He went straight like face first from the ground. Dunskies.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
He go, the whole fight he wasn't doing it, but he had Jake Paul. I'm gonna stand up a little bit. Jake Paul had his glove up, and he did this with his right hand, and Woodley never dropped his glove. Well, he did it again, and you saw Woodley drop it, and that punch is done. Like I can't stand Jake Paul, but it is fun to watch. I was really hoping he got knocked out though. I really wanted him to get knocked out.
It's crazy. He's 5-0. That's crazy.
Yeah, well, and then, it is what it is. I want him to fight a real fighter his size, not somebody smaller than him. I was really excited for him to get his butt kicked by, I think it was Klitschko's brother or something like that. But both Paul brother, though. Dogsy said he's met both Paul brother through work, and Jake is the worst person out of the two. Logan is just dumb. That's what my wife says. Jake is a terrible person, and Logan, he's doing the best that he can do, I guess. But anyways, I don't want to talk about Paul brother. Man, they ain't even worth it. But real quick, back to fantasy. Next year, I'm gonna do a weekly segment on fantasy football. I'll give you last minute advice. I'll give you lineup advices. I'll give you roster changes, trade. I'll give you trade advice. I'll have all kinds of opinions for you. You can take them for what they are, but I do play a lot of fantasy football, and I'm a nerd about it. I play daily and all that kind of stuff. So next football season, we really are going to be the place to come for fantasy and really much everything. Defense Tailgate, y'all, you ain't going to have to go nowhere else to get any information. We're going to cover baseball, basketball, football, college. Somehow we'll fit in hockey and soccer. And I mean, you're going to be a one-stop shop for all your sports information. Is going to be right here on the tailgate party that never stops, the Fins Tailgate. And Tonk and I are just so excited to be a part of this thing, man. El Capitan has put hard work into this, and we get to get him the likes and get him the subscribes, guys. That's what we need.
Oh, all right. I was going to say, can we see how long we've been on? We've been on for 49 minutes. Oh, shit. We about to hit an hour right now. Boom. Oh, no. My bad.
Hey, but I do want to transition. If this is the last 10 minutes, we got plenty of interaction. We keep going. Hey, it's New Year's Eve.
I don't think Capitan cares either. He's probably sitting there drinking and hanging out, watching Family Guy or something.
But I do want to spend some time on a really influential, um, just a player for the Dolphins. My whole life was Zach Thomas. He's finally, he made it the finalist. That everybody's talking about Patrick Willis and Brian Urlacher's already in, and Darren Woodson not being on the list. And there's some really good guys on the list, but Zach Thomas played 184 total games. He had 1,720 tackles combined, 12 forced fumbles, 20 and a half sacks, 8 fumble recoveries, 17 interceptions, and 4 touchdowns. Ray Lewis got in. Ray Lewis was great. He was flashy, made the big plays. But Peyton Manning and Tom Brady are on record saying that Zach Thomas was the toughest SOB they ever had to play against. I recall so many times where he would call the plays. Manning would go to do his little audibles, his happy feet and get ready to call plays. Zach Thomas do his audible, and Manning would try and do another audible. Zach Thomas was the best quarterback on the field. Somebody said this recently. Oh, bro, Ty, we do Brandon the Bookie. He's on here all the time doing his. We like to cash checks with Brandon the Bookie.
I'll let you know about that, Tyler.
Yeah, for sure, definitely, Ty. But back to Zach Thomas, he was the best quarterback on the field that didn't play the position. He number 54 will forever live in my heart. I love the effort he gave to the game. He went to Texas Tech, one of the first guys to ever get drafted from Texas Tech. Or one of the most prolific for sure. I know Wes Welker was from there too, but now Patrick Mahomes. But Zach Thomas not getting into this point, into the Hall of Fame, has been a travesty. As consistent as he was, he played the game the right way. And, the one downside I can see is the 20 and a half sacks. Maybe they would have liked a little bit more, but that's not what his job was. His job was to shut down the run. His job was to confuse the quarterbacks and make it hell for them to try and figure out what the defense was doing. And he was damn good at it. Jason Taylor married Zach Thomas's sister. I mean, their connection is unbelievable. But for Zach Thomas not to be in yet, if he doesn't get in this year, it's a joke, man. It's one of the, as El Capitan said, it's criminal. We don't get players like him anymore. Players that play the game right. What do you remember about Zach Thomas, Tonk?
Definitely just seeing him. He was defensive line. I remember, didn't he used to wear
he was a linebacker. Yeah, he had yep.
Yeah, I remember that a lot. And that was like an easy way to watch him, know where he is
Yeah.
During
all you had to do was watch the damn ball. He was there.
And I was more of an offensive fan growing up.
Don't tell me you like Fiedler.
I didn't really pay too much attention, but I just remember knowing he was a good player, and that he just he played the position well, he owned the position well, like you said, managed it, and just kept the line going. But I mean, it's not surprising that Tom Brady and Peyton Manning probably didn't even play him that much.
No, they did. That was back in Peyton Manning's heyday, but because I believe it was 2000. You look it up, but I think he retired in 2006, 2007, something like that. But Zach Thomas was.
I was really.
Yeah. Well, don't make me show my age, man. Just because I look young doesn't mean I am young. But you make me look old now. But but Zach Thomas.
There's people younger than me. I make them look old.
So, do you remember his head being square?
No, I remember the thing behind his head looking square.
Okay, so he had a square head, bro. His head was square. Okay, and I'm gonna tell you how it happened. This is a good old story from Pops. But so when he was a kid, I believe it was his stepdad. He got run over. He fell down, and his dad ran over his head. Well, his dad ran back over it because he wasn't sure what happened. And when they got up, they took him to the hospital because, of course, his head just got run over. But all it did was shape his skull just right. And well, not really just right, but it didn't do any brain damage or anything like that. It just gave him a square head. His head got run over by a car. That's a tough SOB as a kid. No wonder he played linebacker in the NFL, guys.
True story.
Yeah, it's a true story. You look it up. Zach Thomas had run over, whatever. It's a, it's crazy that that's how it happened, but it's crazier that he survived. It didn't smash his skull, but I just showed you how strong the human body is.
More like
You
Zach.
look it up. Why is Zach Thomas's head square? Google that. I bet you'll like it. But y'all got any questions about Zach Thomas, Sean? I know you watched him a lot, El Capitan. Y'all got any information or cool memories? Maybe we can recall them and talk about them for you too. But Zach Thomas, to me, not getting in, it's just a travesty. I just, if he doesn't get in this year, I don't know how I'm going to feel about the NFL Hall of Fame anymore. Just yes, maybe I'm biased. This is a Miami Dolphins podcast. This is a Miami sports podcast. I get that. We're on the Fins tailgate. The tailgate party that never stops. But I live in cowboy country, and I didn't get to watch all of Zach Thomas's games. But all I remember was it was him and Ray Lewis, and then Brian Urlacher. I get Urlacher. I think that's because of where he played, why he had more of a fandom. And unless you grew up in South Florida or you just happen to like Miami Dolphins, you didn't probably care too much about them because they never did anything, super impressive. But other than the 1972 season and Dan Marino, to this day, the best arm I've ever seen in the NFL. But I just Zach Thomas was who shaped my love for defense and my love for defensive football and confusing quarterbacks and confusing people in general because he did it. It was such an artwork. And he would just wait for the perfect time. As soon as the audible was called, he'd call his audible. Then the quarterback would have to audible again. Then he'd call his audible. And I can't count how many times he probably forced to delay the game just because the quarterback was like, no, he knows exactly what I'm doing. I ain't running that play. We're going to try something else.
So
But hey, what's the story?
Announced that because he's a finalist, but when is it announced?
I think that it's a Super Bowl or playoff, divisional playoff weekend, something like it's coming up. They're going to do a whole Hall of Fame weekend. But oh yeah, they're going to announce soon. But the Hall of Fame weekend is preseason. It's the Hall of Fame game, so I'm way off on that. But I think they should. Hopefully they announce soon.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. So what's the score of that Michigan game? We need an update.
27-3 Georgia.
Still. Is Georgia just running all over him, or is the defense just that dominant?
They're running the ball. They're running the ball well. Yeah. And, well, obviously defense is dominant. If Michigan, dude, that's crazy right now. Alabama held Cincinnati to 6 points, no touchdowns, dude. The guy barely even got even close to the end zone.
Yeah.
And doing the same thing here. And I mean, I definitely knew. I don't know. I just like. I believe in Jim Harbaugh, but I don't know, man. These northern teams, they just don't ever do well against the SEC. Freaking Notre Dame, Michigan.
Nobody does well against the SEC, bro. In 2008, Texas got waxed. Granted, they cheap shotted Colt McCoy on the
Oregon.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know. It's just crazy. I don't know what it is. If it's the culture, but it's these little cities in Florida, man, that these kids come out of. Belglade, Pahokee. Like if living in Florida, you'd see the kid, like the players, like in high school, you'd see their jackets, their Letterman jackets, and you could tell these kids are like serious. Like they got Letterman jackets, they got crews, and it's like that's all there is to do out there. The land is flat. You can play all year long because of the weather. It's I don't know. It just spawns these incredible talents. It's crazy.
Dude, we're in the two football hotbeds for high school football in general. Texas and Florida, the best of the country come from these two states. Yeah, for sure. You're 100% right on that. But all right, Dogsy, bring it on, bro. I got all kinds of information. Yeah, you got a good question. Not on topic, but whatever. We'll just be caught off guard with you.
The tailgate party that never stops.
Share. Hey, y'all! Again, those watch. Yep.
There's the comments. Share, please. We're trying to get more people on here eventually once we get a little established of what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't find anything about him getting run over.
Well, I'll send you the article
Yeah,
soon.
send that to me. I can't find it. So
My
what?
dad, I know my dad has it somewhere. He's the one that told me the story, but it was when he was. I think I don't want to say he was a toddler, but I know he was a kid. But uh, Dogsy, bring your question on, bro. We about to have to hang this up. Not really. We don't have to, but
I
I got.
remember. I remember when the Colts were in the Super Bowl against the Bears, and my mom was rooting for Brian Urlacher. So
Yeah.
I didn't
Well,
even
and then
know that
that
word. My mom was so funny. She like knew players that like I didn't even know. My mom, she would have been really good to have on here. So what do you think if you took some Ruby Union players and dropped them into the NFL? So you mean rugby
rugby. Yeah.
players? Well, actually, I think there is a couple players from Australia that came into the NFL. I mean,
I
because
know we had some punters.
it's a very similar sport.
Yeah.
Uh, like Samoans, and Australians. We have some in the NFL. But yeah, I
I'm
mean
t-
those guys.
I think the rugby players would dominate. They're meaner. They have more pride in their game. It's not about money to rugby players. I think they come in and just love the
There,
sport more, and it would be
there's
really interesting to see.
there's got to be a couple in the
I
league right.
know I know that there was a punter a few years back played for the Cowboys. I don't know. I'm guessing you're right,
So
but guys,
there's
one more
got
time.
it.
What's
So
up?
so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 players that were rugby are in the NFL or were in the NFL. Yeah,
There's your answer to your question, Doc. They're doing pretty good.
yeah. Dixon from New Zealand. I mean, that's basically Australia. I mean,
Yeah,
they're like more Australia than Australia.
yeah.
They're like kind of like if Australia had like the South, if the South was in Australia, it would be New Zealand. So you got Gary Anderson from South Africa. You got Alex Gray from Newcastle, London. A guy from New Zealand, Paul Lacey. Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't we want to have those players, in our league? They're obviously tough guys, and maybe it's just trying to get them over here. Maybe not all of them want to come over here. They like where they live, but I mean,
I,
it's
speaking
definitely
speaking of
nice that we have this many, that have played recently. Australia, Samoa, just like I said, American Samoa.
Hey, I'm down here. I'm down here in DFW. We got Trinity High School. That's the like destination for Samoans. They are notorious for having a fully scary defense because they're Samoans. But speaking of tough players and a good defense, man, these Dolphins. I want to get onto these Dolphins and give everybody a tease for the Dolphins Titans preview show we'll have on tomorrow.
Get on it. Let's get on it.
Yeah, so you think it's I want to get back to your prediction is that you got an overtime game this weekend, I hear.
Dude, I got overtime and then the Dolphins win by 3. A field goal.
Okay.
A field goal cuz like with the way the rules are now, I don't like someone's going to miss a touchdown and then they're going to go for a field goal and it's going to win the game. I think it's going to be the Dolphins cuz I don't know, man, with Tannehill, their first time playing him and then just the dark horse that the Titans are. I don't think Derrick Henry is going to play.
No, I don't think there's a chance.
Into it.
Yeah, they got AJ Brown back, and AJ Brown's even Xavier Howard said he's a monster. I watched the interview for Xavier Howard, and they asked him about AJ Brown, and he just kind of dodged the question. And then he came in, and Omar came back around. And was like, so just to make it clear, what do you think about AJ Brown? And he mentioned that he's big and physical, and he said that Xavier Howard's problem in the past has been trying to match their physicality and match their toughness and match them on the line, being physical off the line. But he said he can't do that. He's got to stay in his game. He's got to trust that everybody else around him is going to have his back and just do his thing. Because I think Xavier Howard's probably going to get 2 picks this weekend. He knows Tannehill. He knows exactly what it takes to rattle him. He knows exactly his weak spots. He knows everything about it. But the Dolphins right now, that overtime prediction, dude, I'm just glad you finally gave me a score. But dude, if that happens, I'm taking you to the bank. But we gonna go to Vegas. I'm gonna just be like, hey, this man knows it all. But rookie's gonna show this weekend. Yeah, I think that's probably right.
So the head coach of Titans, he used to coach with the Patriots.
Yeah, Vrabel and Flores. That's another storyline that.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not doubting any team, but I'm just saying what we're up against. I think this is going to be our second biggest challenge with this win streak that we're on, is because this week and then next week is. I mean, it's the
dude. I'm not worried about the Patriots. I'm not worried about the Patriots, but we got to get past the Titans. But I'm gonna let you know tomorrow. I'll get into it. But right here on the Fins tailgate for the Dolphins Titans preview. But I'm nervous. Not that we can't beat them, but there's so many different oddities about this game that it's one of those games where I think you're probably the closest prediction I've heard is an overtime game, and Dolphins winning by 3. I mean, that would just be, they would be the storybook ending to this crazy season. Then being able to go into New England after that, if we get past the Titans, we go to New England and get to knock them out of the playoffs. I said that on probably my first show on this network with the Fins tailgate, that I would love to see Miami knock the Patriots out of the playoffs and take their spot. Well, now the Patriots got to come get the spot now because of the tiebreakers and how they all worked out. But did you see Jerome Baker got offensive player of the month or defensive player of the month? Yeah, he's been balling out. They moved him to outside linebacker, and he's been studly. And I think I finally figured out why I don't like him and why my dad doesn't like him is because when he's middle linebacker, I feel like he's not reaching his potential. But when he put him at outside linebacker, he's a stud. But this team right now, it's going to be a fun ride, regardless of where the season goes from here. This has been one of the most fun seasons I've had in forever. Even with the 1-7 start, I still think this has been one of the most incredibly fun seasons. As a fan, the roller coaster ride. There was a guy on NFL Network talking about how this is the TV show that your friend tells you to watch and says you got to stick with it. Man, I know it sucks in the beginning, but I promise just stick with it. And that's what this team was. This team was somebody that you had to stick with them, and you couldn't give up. And you know who never gave up? And as hard as it was to deal with all the questions and everything, was Tua. Tua's just put the team on his back and said, rumors be damned, Deshaun Watson be damned. This is my team. Flores gave me the reins to this team. I'm going to go out there and act like this is my team. And he really is showing people that he's going to be great. He's doing this behind one of the worst offensive lines ever. This week is a big test. Tennessee's defense is solid. Vrabel and Flores were both defensive guys under Belichick. And it's mano a mano. You've got the Dolphins playing the best, second to Tampa Bay in pretty much every category during this winning streak. And you've got Tennessee, who's notoriously been good at defense for the last couple of years. And then Tannehill's just wins games lately. So you got to see, this game is just way too close for me to be comfortable. But
yeah. I mean, but I like our dual. Like how we have Jacoby Brissett backing up. Didn't he play for Ohio State? I think he played for Ohio State for Urban Meyer. Didn't he?
I don't know. But, you might be right. Now that I think about that, but why don't you look that up and then
was it Jalen Waddle that played with Tua on Alabama?
Yeah, Jalen Waddle and Devontae Smith. But Waddle, I changed my opinion. I wanted Devontae Smith real quick, and then I want to close up. But Devontae Parker, yeah, he's good. But Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle were wide receivers for Tua at Alabama. But I wanted Devontae Smith all off season until I saw a couple videos and I started looking into Mr. Waddle. and looking at the peripherals and the numbers inside the numbers. And I thought he was the best wide receiver in the draft, but that's a different story for a different day. Maybe we'll talk about that draft talk come April. But
the Dolphins?
No, Devontae Smith plays for Philadelphia. I wanted Devontae Smith. We passed on him to take Waddle, and then Philadelphia traded up with Dallas to get Devontae Smith. I thought Devontae Smith was one of the most pure route runners I've seen in forever, but now Waddle's showing that Waddle was by far the superior wide receiver. I think his PFF grade is like 87.4, 81.4, something like that. It's pretty nuts. But, guys, thank y'all so much for joining us tonight. Ty, Sean, Dogsy, you came back. This has been so much fun. This is the first episode of Drop the Mic. I'm your host, Mike on the mic. I got Tonk 7 here. I want to give a special thanks to Chris Adams, El Capitan, for allowing us to do this. Guys, like, subscribe, share, come back. We're gonna have fun, lots of laughters. This is where you gotta come. This is the tailgate party that never stops. Peace out, Tonk.